Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on Mr. Circuit Lab number 32, the IC two-color LED flasher. The IC two-color LED flasher uses a 555 IC timer chip. The 555 gets its name from using three 5,000 ohm resistors in its circuit. It's useful in generating accurate timing circuits or oscillation circuits. So let's go. On page 51 of the Mr. Circuit Lab manual, you will see circuit number 32, the IC two-color LED flasher. Here's a list of the parts that we'll need in order to make this circuit work in Tinkercad. Here's a picture of what the circuit will look like. Keep in mind, we need two separate rows in a breadboard. So let's go bring in our parts in Tinkercad. Now that we have all our components in Tinkercad, let's begin assembling this by selecting the IC555 timer first. If you take a close look at the picture on page 51 of the manual, you'll see that all of the components revolve around the IC chip. So let's put that in place first. Drag your 555 timer over and place it somewhere near the middle, maybe a few rows to the right, splitting the upper and lower parts of the breadboard. Make sure that the little white dot is in the lower left-hand corner of the 555 timer. It should read 555. Next, let's put our capacitor in. Notice the polarized capacitor has a negative lead that goes in the upper left-hand corner of the breadboard and a positive lead that goes into the second row at the bottom from the left in our 555 timer. Now that we have our capacitor in place, let's put a few resistors in at the top. R2, or 15K ohm resistor, is going to be placed so that its terminal 2 is all the way to the right of the breadboard in the upper section. We can put terminal 1 in the same row as the first leg of the 555 timer in the top. Now let's add a jump wire. One row below the R2 resistor, placing it in the same spot on the right, one square below the R2, and one square to the right and one square down from where the terminal 1 of R2 was. Now we can place R3, 4.7K ohm resistor. This is going to be placed, again, one row down, one to the right, in line with the third terminal of our IC chip at the top, and then all the way over to the right, just below the jump wire. Things are going to get a little crowded in this circuit, so please make sure you're paying close attention to where you're putting these wires. Now let's add a jump wire from the lower left terminal of the IC555 timer, all the way over to the negative lead of the capacitor. Another jump wire is going to be used to go from the first terminal in the upper left side of the IC chip to the bottom right terminal of the IC chip. Then we can place another jump wire from the third leg at the top of the IC chip down to the second leg from the left at the bottom of the IC chip. The top of our board is complete. Let's now focus on the bottom half. Start by placing resistors R1 and R4. R4 is going to go in line with the first leg of the IC chip at the bottom, and then go all the way to the left of our board to align with the negative lead of our battery. While I'm here, I'll place the negative lead for our battery as well. Now that we have that in place, let's place our two LEDs. This will help us align our next resistor. Rotate the yellow LED and place it so that the negative lead is in line with the first terminal at the bottom of our IC chip. Next, we can place L2. It won't fit in the board the correct way because the negative lead is on the opposite side. Place the negative lead in row 3 at the bottom of the IC chip and the positive lead in row 4 at the bottom of the IC chip. Now we can place the positive lead of our battery. That's going to go just above the positive lead of our red LED. Now we can place resistor R1. Terminal 1 of the resistor is going to line up with the positive lead of our yellow LED. Terminal 2 is going to line up with the negative lead of our red LED. It looks like our circuit's complete. Let's give it a test and see what happens. Great, it works. Here you can see the two LEDs are flashing on opposite signals. That means the 555 timer chip is working correctly. Take a screenshot. This may not allow both LEDs to be lit up, but as long as one of them is, I'll be able to determine that your circuit is working properly. Screenshot, add it to the Google Classroom document, and submit. That concludes the Mr. Circuit Lab manual tutorials. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. I can't wait to get started with quarter 2. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We're going to have more videos as we enter our design and modeling unit. Thanks for watching, guys.